Ladies and gentlemen, this story really touches my soul. And I talk about my daughter a lot because I love my daughter and shout out to my daughter. But this little girl, in so many ways, reminds me of my daughter when she was this age. Like, me and my daughter not only had a great relationship when she was this age, but we got even more of a relationship now that she's coming into her own. And I love my daughter so much, and I appreciate her mind. I appreciate my daughter's spirit. I appreciate my daughter's individuality, you know? And I look at this little girl right here, and I'm just like, just every picture you see her, she is just full of life. She is full of joy. And I believe, and guys, it's going to be hard for me to talk about this story and not cry because it gets me really on the inside. It works my blood pressure up. All up in my chest muscles. These babies can't speak for themselves and they cannot defend themselves. But I want to talk about this. The St. Joseph County Prosecutor's Office has charged an individual who is 21 years old. Let me see if I can get his picture on my screen. This individual right here, looking like I walk rough and tough with my afro puffs, the Lady of Rage. He literally looks like the Lady of Rage with chin hair. That's 21-year-old Travion Dewan Shaver. Travion Deshaun Shaver. "21 years old, and he's charged with murder and aggravated battery following the death of 3-year-old Kardie Weathersby." We're going to talk about that picture here in a minute. Can we get some of our hashtags in the chat? Y'all know we have a lot of hashtags. We have things like hashtag when you date thugs, you date death. Hashtag stupid is and stupid thugs. Hashtag live by the thug, die by the thug. Hashtag hood hoes, love hood dick. Hashtag no jail time, give them hell time. Huh? Everybody understand where I'm coming from? Hopefully everybody understands where I'm coming from. We have these hashtags for a reason, to call out certain behaviors and certain attributes that I believe that us as the community, us as Americans, we should avoid people who just do bad things that don't believe in being a good person. Kardie Weathersby, the 3-year-old little girl, was dropped off in the emergency room of a local hospital on October the 13th with severe head injuries, and this baby died 2 days later without ever regaining consciousness. Let's keep going. This baby was taken to the hospital and dropped off allegedly by him, who is the father of that little girl. Dropped her off at the hospital. Yes, you heard that right. But bookmark that in your mind. We'll come back to it. Her death was determined to be due to blunt force trauma and was ruled a homicide by a forensic pathologist. Police say that 3-year-old Kardie Weathersby was under the care of her father, Travion Shaver, when she was dropped off at the hospital. According to probable cause documents, Shaver did not at first specify what happened. This is a key point, and I'm going to reiterate this because of that message right there that you see on my screen, which I'll blow that up here in a minute. What that message that you're looking at right there is actually from someone who was trying to defend the father, and they're trying to say, they're actually trying to defend him and say that we don't know the full story and we don't need to judge him. They don't believe that he's guilty of what we're accusing him of doing. But we'll come back to that here in a moment. That's why I say we got a lot to talk about here. According to probable cause documents, hashtag not my words, but according to probable cause documents, Shaver did not at first specify what happened. He later told Kardie's mother and others that he had sprayed Bactine, Bactine, Bactine on her skin and that she had an allergic reaction. Or that Kardie wet herself, and when he tried to give her a bath, but she hit her head on the bathtub, or that she fell out of a car. He also told Kardie's mother that he went overboard in disciplining her. I'm going to ask you guys a question who have been around for a while. I know we have some people who this might be your first time watching, but let me ask a question. Let me ask a question to the people who have been here for a while. How many stories just in the past 3 months, in 3 months, just since August or September, let's just say since August, since that was my birthday. Since August, how many stories have we done where these caretakers, parents, boyfriends, girlfriend, whomever, how many stories have we done where these children always end up hurting themselves in a bathtub scenario? How many stories have we done just with that scenario alone? Thank you. The bathtub story again. Keyshawn said we lost count. Soldier Girl said 20 plus. Don't y'all find that a little bit odd that the exact same story, they keep blaming the babies? Oh, they hurt themselves in the tub? Every single story? Really? All I'm saying is that it just becomes a little bit peculiar that all these people who end up being arrested, that have children that have died and been murdered, because a homicide is a murder, that they continue to keep providing the same excuses. But I digress. He said, A, an allergic reaction. B, she wet herself, and when he tried to give her a bath, she fell and hit her head on the bathtub. Or C, she fell out of a car. Or option D, he went overboard in disciplining her. But I want y'all to remember how old this little girl is. Kardie is 3 years old. How much discipline does a 3-year-old need? Is there anybody in my chat that still spanks their kids, that still is physically aggressive with their kids, that believes that it's okay to put your hands, feet, and other objects on their kids? Is there anybody in the chat that wants to admit to me that you still spank your kids? I'm asking for black folks in particular, because that's a culture that a lot of us know very well. I know there's some white people and some Mexican people out there that understand, but I'm speaking to the black people because I understand what most of us grew up in, because I've talked to a lot of us and I know our story. Most of us came up in spanking backgrounds in the spanking culture. I've had to teach my family, my friends, my daughter's mom, my daughter, my mom, my dad, had to teach everybody that I know not to spank children. Don't put your hands, feet, or other objects on kids for any reason. Because you're not teaching them respect. You're not teaching them corrective action. All you're teaching them is fear. Huh? You're only teaching them fear by hitting them. So if I take a grown adult woman and I hit her with a belt, is she going to learn to respect me? Or is she going to learn to fear me? And I want y'all to think about that scenario that I just gave you and think about it like this. I'm talking about a grown woman. That little 3-year-old baby is far from grown, far from developed, far too small, and for damn sure can't speak for herself nor defend herself against anything that happens to her. So why is it okay for us to hit, beat, spank, push, smack, do anything to a child this small, but you can't do it to a full-grown adult who actually can defend themselves to a certain extent? I'm just tired of the excuses. I'm absolutely tired. I keep attacking this scenario for a damn reason. Because I believe that if black people believe that slavery was so freaking bad, then we need to stop using things that was taught to us in slavery on our kids. Hello? Why do we bring up slavery all the time talking about how bad it is, but we continue to keep using the tactics of slavery? Treating our kids like property instead of individuals, instead of people. We continue to keep using our babies for the benefits that we can collect from these kids. Hashtag babies for benefits. That's what the shirt stands for. When the hell are we gonna stop using these and stop using this? Start using this and start using that. Why can't you use your mind and your heart? Why can't you use your mind and your heart to reason with a 3-year-old? What could this 3-year-old girl have done to deserve what she got? What did this 3-year-old baby? That's a baby. And every time you see her, she's smiling and happy. What the hell did she do to deserve her demise? What did she deserve to do? What did she do to deserve what she got? What did this baby do to piss this thug off so bad that she deserved to lose her life? Huh? I'm going to bring up another picture of that baby. Look at that. Look at that face. What could this baby have done to deserve to be beat up by her father? Her father is currently in custody in Kentwood, Michigan on unrelated matters, but he's being held with no bond, and if convicted, he could face up to 105 years in prison if convicted of both charges. Let me give you guys the fair usage, and I'll let you guys listen to the news videos. Let's get it. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. And Amanda said, I never thought about that. Well, I thank you. And Amanda and anybody else who thinks like Amanda does, all I can say is thank you for listening with an open mind and an open heart. That's all I could do, is just continue to try to talk to people and hope that our message can spread. When you date zoo animals, you date death. Thank you, 746. I appreciate that. You took two of my analogies and mixed them together, so I do like that. Here we go. Let's get it.
We have breaking news we need to get to here first at 4. Charges have been filed in the murder of a 3-year-old South Bend girl. 21-year-old Trevian Shaver faces murder and aggravated battery charges. He's currently in jail in the Grand Rapids area. Police say someone dropped off Kardie Weathersby at Memorial Hospital early on October 13th with severe head injuries. She died 2 days later. An autopsy found she died from blunt force trauma. Court documents state Shaver told people several different reasons for those head injuries, including he went overboard while disciplining his daughter.
Notate that. So he gave several different answers according to what the police said. Not my words. That's what the police are saying that he said out of his own mouth.
Shaver could face up to 105 years in prison if convicted of both charges.
Start with breaking news. Charges have been filed in the death of 3-year-old Kardie Weathersby. 21-year-old Travion Shaver, who Weathersby's mother says is Kardie's father, has been charged with murder and aggravated battery. Weathersby was dropped off at the emergency room on October 13th and later died from blunt force trauma. Shortly after she was dropped off at the hospital, her mother told officials that the girl was under the care of her father. An arrest warrant has been issued. Shaver is currently in jail in Michigan on unrelated charges.
Now, let's talk about this GoFundMe, because y'all know this is something I talk about a lot. And shout out to the people who do have life insurance on their kids, but there's so many people that do not. Kardie's funeral expenses. Because why have life insurance when you could just bet on the heartstrings of these benevolent white folks that's going to come and donate to your GoFundMes? You're irresponsible as a parent and don't have insurance? Put up a GoFundMe. They're asking for $6,000. They've collected $1,300 so far by way of a person named Aaron Clayton, who is the organizing person on this fundraiser, crowdfunding. So it's funny how they can ask for the public to fund this type of stuff, but I apparently can't have an opinion about something that they're asking the public to fund. I don't know how that works. But nonetheless, they have a goal of $6,000 and have not contributed a single thing to life insurance. I don't understand how that works. But nonetheless, I will tell you guys this, and will continue to remind you guys, as you guys can see in the chat, we have a young lady by the name of Miss June Bennett, as well as others, and I want to shout you guys out so much for posting those links for GerberLife.com. If you are going to be a parent, and if you have kids, and if you are listening to the sound of my voice, I'm asking for you guys to invest in your children. If you cannot afford life insurance, then you can't afford to be a parent. Because guess what? Life insurance ain't that expensive when you could get life insurance on a baby like this for like $3 a month. If you can't afford $3 a month on life insurance for a kid, because no one knows the day or the hour that a kid will pass away, or an adult will pass away, or a teenager will pass away, or an older person will pass away, we don't know. We've got viruses going around. We got natural disasters going around. We've got sickness and disease and all kind of crap going around. At this point, why would you not have life insurance? And if you're that broke that you can't afford life insurance, then you can't afford to be a parent, clearly. Okay? Now, people are asking where the mom was in this situation. Well, I'm just going to assume that the mom at some point will speak out and tell us what was going on in this story. What was the real situation? What really happened? But for now, all we know is that this man beat up his kid and dropped his kid and lied about the story and dropped his baby off at the hospital and left her. That doesn't sound like a father. That doesn't sound like a responsible human being. That actually sounds like somebody who's probably lying and afraid to face the consequences of what they did to this little baby. Baby Kardie cannot speak for herself nor defend herself against the tyranny of her own father. And damn it, we're going to stand up and we're going to speak out and say something. And you threatening people is probably not the correct course of action, talking about you going to sue people for spreading the story about what you've been arrested for. I don't understand how that works. But we're going to continue to keep speaking for these babies, and we're going to continue to keep giving these babies a voice until this thing ceases. This has to stop. Mothers got to be more responsible and stop sleeping with these thugs and these criminals and these gangbangers and these hood ass dudes. And these dudes have to be more responsible with whom they give their seeds, whom they allow to bear children by them. As men, we have to be more responsible with our sexuality as well. Baby Kardie, such a beautiful smile, beautiful little baby. There's absolutely nothing this little girl could have did wrong at all. At all. She was an angel and she deserved the absolute best. Y'all look at how happy this baby is. I'm so thankful and honored to have been able to find as many photos as I did of this little girl. She had the whole world ahead of her. And it seems as though her father halted her life over nothing. Hopefully we'll get a real story. Hopefully he'll stop being a little boy and grow up and become a grown man and be honest about what actually happened to this baby. But I don't expect for that to happen. So hopefully they'll be able to build up a case against him, find out what really happened, and let's get some justice for this little baby. Again, that is Kardie Weathersby. Let me see if I can pull up the picture I like about her the most. Let me see if I can find that. I'm going to pull up my favorite picture of her. That one. Baby Kardie, young princess, little angel. R.I.P. This is your boy DJ Just J. We're the AFC. Well, we're going to continue to keep speaking for our babies and advocate for our children first. From my heart to yours, thank you for listening with an open mind and an open heart. See you on the next stream.